Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'll be showing you a guide on A4 Distortion with Nautilus. This boss is the last boss in the A-Wing distortions. Once you kill this boss, you'll be able to advance to the B-Wing distortions. Keep in mind that this is a very RNG fight, so if you do wipe and make a mistake and do wipe, make sure you reset it and keep going. Don't be discouraged due to the RNG. And I'll show you why this boss is very RNG in a second. This boss has several abilities. The first one you see here is the Explosion of Darkness. For this ability, he will spawn 5 orbs around him. Once he absorbs all 5 orbs, he'll do the Dark Explosion around him. This is raid-wide and can be prevented. Number 1 is dragging him away from the orbs. If he do not absorb all 5 orbs, he will not do the explosion. Second is putting down a kinetic shield, so your raid members don't take any damage. Or you could Lightbinder Sacred Barrier or Alchemist Terminal. I would suggest doing either Kinetic Shield or Sacred Barrier. This is so your whole raid is immune to it and you could do a lot more DPS to it. The second ability that he has is the Dark Bubble Trap. He will spawn bubbles on 2 random raid members at the start and progressively gets harder as he spawns 3, 4, 5, 6, and eventually your whole raid will be bubble trapped and your tank needs to get you out. The only person he never bubbles is your tank. So be sure to stand next to your tank, but not too close. If you're too close to a person being bubble trapped, they will pull you in as well, and you will also be bubble trapped. So make sure you're spreading out. The third ability that he has is he will spawn a watermark on you. Once you have this mark, you need to kite the mark around the perimeter of the room. Every second or so, you will drop a puddle on the ground, and this puddle does a massive amount of damage for anyone on top of it. Keep in mind that you will not be taking any damage as long as you are kiting it. If you stay for more than 1 second on the puddle as it spawns, you will take damage and die. Keep in mind, like the bubble trap, the watermarks will get progressively harder. At the start, you will only have 1 person being water trapped, so they will need to kite it around, but throughout the fight, it will increase to 2 people. So 2 people will start to kite around the room. After the boss does his bubble trap and water traps, he will go into the bubble phase. During the bubble phase, he will spawn bubbles from all 4 sides of the room, vertically, horizontally. Every 3rd bubble phase, he will spawn God Orbs. So you will need a dedicated person or people, however you do it, to grab the God Orbs. Keep in mind that the first God Orb will spawn 2 and you need to get both of them to become a God. The next one will require 3, 4, and 5, and so on. Typically, you would want to kill the boss within 2 or 3 God phases. If you don't, it will keep getting harder and harder and harder to do it. When the person becomes God, make sure you buff him with stimulants immediately. This is because he needs to kill all the adds in 1 swoop. For the first guy, we had a kinetic taking the God Orbs, AoEing the adds and stunning them, pretty much just one-shotting all the adds. This is so you could avoid all the adds trouble and none of the diamonds killing you. From this point on, it's pretty much rinse and repeat until the boss is dead. Keep in mind, like I said, this fight progressively gets harder. You'll get more bubble traps, more explosions, more water trap, and more of everything else. Especially more God Orbs. That's the hardest part of the fight. And also, this is where RNG comes in as well. Because if you have 2 different God Orbs spawning from 2 different corners, it's pretty much a wipe unless your DPS is skilled enough to get both of them. As I said before, this is a very RNG fight, and you just need to do your best to get through it and pray to the RNG god pretty much. Also keep in mind that the Explosion of Darkness will spawn faster and faster. He'll absorb the orbs faster and faster, and everything in the fight will become faster and faster. He'll spawn more bubble traps faster, he'll do water traps even faster, and you just pretty much just need to keep up with the pace and keep everything nice and clean during the fight. During the bubble phase, he will also spawn more bubble waves, so you need to dodge even more. Make sure you save your kinetic shield and terminal for this phase as well, because it could get a little bit dodgy. Pun intended. For our DPS setup, we use 3 kinetics and 1 cryomancer. But on our first kill, we use 2 kinetics, 1 archer, and 1 cryomancer. We use the archer for its electricity field, which once you put it down, it CCs any mobs trying to get in to kill any of our teammates. So it's very protective and also reduces damage by 60% if they do get hit. Also, the archer is able to do smokescreen, so once the ads spawn, no one is touched because they're inside the smokescreen, and the only target they have is the god form. We use the Cryomancer as well for obvious reasons. One is because obviously the longer dash than most classes, the icy slide. Two, they're able to get rid of all the ads pretty much immediately, one-shotting them with whiteout. This is very important because once the ads die, the Cryomancer, as you will see, will immediately go kinetic and nuke down the boss. So obviously you need a balance between AoE and single target in this fight. During the AoEing the ads phase, make sure your kinetic shield on your entire group. Make sure you have the tank separate on the right side and everyone else groups on the left side. This is because the god is able to break out the tank first, and the tank needs to drag the boss away from the 5 bubbles that spawn, or else it's pretty much a wipe if he gets everything else. Once the tank is broken out, he can then free everyone else if there's no bubbles around the ads for Darkness Explosion. The passphrase is Ragefire Chasm. As you can see, as the fight progresses, there are more bubble traps, more water, and everything is sped up. So just keep it nice and clean and you're good to go. Also, if you do it correctly, you should be able to get 2 burst durations for your kinetic that are going god forms for this fight. Just be sure you're on top of buffing and you're good to go. So to quickly sum up the fights, the boss does Darkness of Explosion. You need to either drag him away from the group, circuit barrier, terminal, or kinetic shield. 2, he does bubble traps. You need to break people out immediately and don't stand next to each other. 3, he does water traps, which you need to kite around the room perimeter. 4, you need to dance with bubbles, don't get hit, be pro. 5, you need to dedicate someone to grabbing the god orbs. And that's pretty much the entire fight. It's just rinse and repeat. It just gets faster and harder. As always, there's more than one way to kill a boss. So if this helps you, great. Keep using this strategy. If not, you could use anything in this guide to help you tweak your fights until the boss is dead. If you still need help after watching this video, go ahead and post down below. I'll get back to you. As always, thanks for watching and good luck.